First, there's the introduction.
It was a year that seemed to go on longer than a year, because it did.
The time, the place, the mood. Things were bad.
People were divided.
Our financial institutions were providing stability in a volatile global economy.
Our faith in government was at an all-time low. Then we meet the characters. People vying for a chance to make change.
But what type of change?
Hope? Fear? They hung in the air.
Like the smell of spring when winter was far from over.
And we meet our hero. Or heroine.
Or villain.
Someone who says what you want to hear. Someone on the outside, just like you. Someone who knows what you want and isn't afraid to promise it.
Someone who may be the only person you can count on to tell the truth.
To fight for the truth. And then it begins. What next? So, do we retell you the story up until this point? Why? You already know it. Do we spend our time together commenting on how everyone else is telling it? There's enough of that already. One thing we hear people say all the time now is how we wish people talked about things that mattered. How we wish politics were about us and our lives, not the campaigns of people we will never meet, crap to sow hope and fear in our hearts. We don't want those campaigns. They exhaust us. We want dialogue. We want listening. We want thoughtfulness and honesty and connection. What questions do we need to ask to trade our national televised performance of democracy for just a few minutes of authentic civic discourse?
Take 5 steps forward, and as you do, make me trust you. Hold. Take 5 steps backwards, and dare me to follow you. Hold. Extend your hand for a handshake. Relax. Give me a signal that everything is going to be okay. Relax. Listen to the music. And dance. But not with abandon. Don't take yourself too seriously, but avoid goofy and eliminate sensuality. Go! If we lose, I'm gonna kill myself. I swear to God, I'm going to kill myself. I won't make it. Do you know how much I hate the other guy? I hate him so much. If I had the chance, I would. Well, I would. And I know, it makes my guy look awful. Me, filled with such bitterness. I'm not voting for him because of how awful my other choice is. I'm voting for him because he speaks for me. He does, but it's not just that the other guy doesn't speak for me. What he speaks for is completely opposite of everything I believe in. I am completely happy to live in a place where everyone can have their own point of view. We don't need to agree, but if more than half the population, the voting population, feels that my values are less meaningful, less right, yes, less right, then I will be staggeringly confused. I mean, is this the place I should be living? We can disagree. Really. I can handle it. But that our core beliefs could be entirely contradictory? I am terrified. This is very hard. I'm going to try to speak to you in a plain spoken way. I want to connect with you. I want to relate with you. You don't look like me. That doesn't mean I don't understand you.
How could you understand me without having walked in my shoes, without having lived my pain?
I can empathize.
Oh. Empathy is the story privilege spins when it has to work harder to hold on to power.
Show me what a good leader looks like. Great! Show me how a good leader reacts to a standing ovation. Wonderful! Take a step forward if you believe a good leader ever apologizes. Amazing! Take a step backward if you believe a good leader can have major character flaws. Tremendous! Now, when I say go, run to the back wall, touch it, and return to your spot. If you get back first, show me how a good leader wins. If you get back last, show me how a good leader loses. And if you get back in the middle, show me how a good leader can be mediocre. Go! Excellent! When I say go, head to the lip of the stage and find someone you can look in the eye. Show them your heart, but don't give any of it away. Go. Moving on.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But then if you're so smart, then tell me, why are you still so afraid? Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do and only so many hours in a day. But you know that when the truth is told, that you can get what you want, or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you want to be before your time. Oh, it's so romantic on the borderline tonight. Too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you can see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right. You're right. You got your passion, you got your pride, but don't you know that only fools are satisfied? Dream on, but don't imagine it'll come true. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Oh, you know that when the truth is told, you can get what you want, or you can just get on. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Why don't you realize Vienna waits for you? When will you realize Vienna waits for you?
There is nothing left to be said. Anything anyone could possibly have said has already been said.
But no one has said anything, really, at all.
When was the last time someone asked a question, and that person who asked the question really wanted to know the answer? And the person who answered, they really thought about the question and took their time to come up with their answer. Not an answer, but their answer. In that moment, with that person who asked. When was the last time curiosity was in a room? In any room? When was the last time someone stayed up late at night and thought to themselves,
Day turns to night. Night turns to day. I know. The voices, you speak, you listen, you watch, you believe, you doubt, and you hope. I know. There's rage and love and fear and hunger. The hunger. And the not caring. I know. Why I cared.
If we lose, I'm gonna kill myself. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill myself. I won't make it. Do you know how much I hate the other guy? I hate him so much that if I had the chance, I would. I would. Well, I would. And I know, it makes my guy look awful, me filled with such a bitterness. But I'm not just voting for him because of how awful my other choice is. I'm voting for him because he speaks for me. He does, but it's not just that the other guy doesn't speak for me. What he speaks for is completely the opposite of everything I believe in. I am completely happy to live in a place where everybody has their own opinion. We don't need to agree. But if more than half the population, yes, the voting population, feels that my values are less meaningful, less right, yes, less right, I will be staggeringly confused. I mean, is this the place I should be living? We can disagree. Really, I can handle it. But that our core beliefs could be entirely contradictory? I am terrified.
if my person does not win,
if my person does not win,
I will feel
scared.
If my person does not win,
If my person does not win,
I will riot!
When November has come and gone,
when
November has come and gone,
I
am hopeful for
I am hopeful for change.
when November has come and gone.
When November has come and gone,
I am fearful of.
I am fearful of moving backwards.
First, there's the introduction. The time, the place, the mood. Then we meet the characters. My name is Michael, and this election will be my first time voting.
My name is Lana, and this election will be the third time that I vote.
My name is Teresa, and this election will be the third time that I vote.
My name is Amy, and this election will be the first time that I vote.
My name is Tara, and this election will be the fourth time that I vote. My name is Grace, and this election will be the third time that I vote.
My name is Lyanne, and this election will be the second time I vote.
My name is Dylan, and this election will be the first time that I vote.
My name is Lauren, and this election will be the second time that I vote.
My name is Allison, and this election will be the second time that I vote. Every good story, at its heart, is a quest for meaning, for truth, for retribution.
For love.
Ow! The word quest shares meaning with the word question. To go on a quest, one is attempting to find answers. To find answers, one has to look for the right questions. Ready?
Yeah, all right.
All right, let's get started.
Hey, Michael, what are 3 leadership qualities that you think?
I think
darkness,
goodness
my
might
old
be
friend.
kind, honest, and caring. What about you, Tara?
For me, I think leaders should be resilient, have compassion, and know when to step in when the time is right.
Impressive.
You're telling the lie.
Hey, Dylan. If anybody you could choose to be leader yesterday, who would it have been?
My mom.
So don't you criticize. Yeah, I got it.
Hey, Amy. Yeah. What do you want to see in leaders today? Honesty.
I messed up being abused.
Hey, Allison. Do you feel represented by our currently elected officials? How can I when so few of them are women?
You let me down. Though you're running around.
Hey, Lana. In your own words, what is a leader?
A leader is a good role model and someone who knows how to delegate tasks well.
Still eat potato. Trying to call me friends.
Hey, Grace.
Yes, Michael.
What's more important to you, a leader's actions or their beliefs?
Their actions.
I'll tell you what. I don't just want to holler.
Hey, Teresa.
What's up?
Tell me one word you want to hear out of a leader's mouth to make you trust them.
Trust me.
Just gotta do it.
Hey, Michael. Does social media help or hurt the communication we have with our leaders?
I think it can help to get certain things across quicker, but I think that it can also be harmful when used the wrong ways.
Just feel my rage. But take you.
Hey, Lyanne,
Yeah,
have you ever greeted someone from a different political party?
I have, and I think that's something you have to learn to do in the world today.
Oh, baby. I felt it all.
Hey, Tara.
Hey, what?
What do the young people of today have to do to become the great leaders of tomorrow?
They have to be resilient in times of challenge.
It's like in the fall.
So, this round
That I'm on.
is called Leadership and Character, and we're going
No,
to...
it's not. It's called leadership and
I'm
change.
so sorry. Leadership and Change. It's a little crazy today. So this is Leadership and Change, and we are going to ask for 2 audience volunteers. You can stay in your seat for this round, but if you'd like us to have us ask you some questions, we are taking volunteers
Please
now.
give a show of hands who wants to answer a question. Oh, yes.
Oh, many.
Alright, you got your first. Would you stand up and introduce yourself to the audience, please?
I'm Patrice.
Would you please stand up and introduce yourself? You don't need this.
Oh, yeah. I'm Ken.
Thank you.
So I'm going to hand you this mic. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, alright? The first question is going to be 30 seconds. Ready?
30 seconds.
Yeah, you're going to have 30 seconds to answer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. Do you think it's ever okay for a leader to ask their people to change their opinion?
No, because what if they don't want to change their opinion?
Yeah. Thank you. Your second question. Do you think when leaders become more in the public eye, they have to change? Or do you think they can still be who they are?
Well, to some extent, you do have to change because people look up to you. And if you do something that's like stupid or something, you get remembered for those stupid things. So I feel like if you want to do stupid things, don't run for public office. You can do that at home and nobody knows it but you.
Would you please stand up? Thank you. This is for you. Okay, Ken, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The first question you'll have 30 seconds to answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, when a leader decides to embrace change, do you think they should stay loyal to that, even if the people around them recommend a different way?
Interesting. If they embrace change, you want them to stay the same.
So,
So I say if they can embrace change, I would expect that they would change. They could evolve.
thank you. Now, my second question, you'll have 15 seconds. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. How important do you think reflection is for a leader?
I think it's very important. It helps them be empathetic, to look at their lives and other people's lives and incorporate that in the decisions they make as a public servant.
Okay. Thank you. Let's give a round of
All right, this round's questions are about leadership and love. Would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Buddy.
Could you please introduce yourself to all the people here?
My name is Joey.
And would you please introduce yourself to the audience? My name is Claudia.
Please introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Andrew.
All right, buddy, for this first question, you'll have 10 seconds to answer. Are you ready? No worries, this one's an easy one. How does an effective leader show they love their people?
I think like the most important attribute for a leader is just listening to them. I think there's a noticeable difference that you can make between really listening to someone and just kind of like making a show of taking in like what they say, and you understand like what the difference is, because when they actually enact change from it, there's a noticeable effort to do what they can in order to like carry out what people think should be done right.
Thank you.
All right, Joey, you have 10 seconds to answer this question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you think a leader should be blamed for the mistake of a romantic partner?
No, I don't think they should be blamed outright, at least, but I think that's actually a better question to ask. I suppose maybe case by case. I would think mostly no, though, because it might not perfectly represent who they are as a person.
All right, thank you so much. And Claudia, right? Yeah. So for this first question, you will have 10 seconds to answer. Are you ready? Sure. So how do you think a broken heart can affect a leader?
I think that a broken heart can probably cloud their judgment, and it probably make them like do impulsive decisions that I often wouldn't make.
Thank you.
Andrew, you're gonna have 10 seconds for this one. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Now, I have a question for you. How do you think a leader's romantic partner should support them while they're in office?
Oh, well, they should absolutely support them. I mean, of course, if they're making absolutely stupid decisions, they should like keep them in check. But when they're making good decisions for whatever they're leading, I definitely think the romantic partner should absolutely 100% support the person in question.
Thank you.
Buddy, for this next question, you'll have 30 seconds to answer. Are you ready? Do you think it's more important for a leader to love the beliefs their country was founded upon, or for a leader to be flexible to changing them?
I think a leader should absolutely be flexible to changing them. I think there's definitely evidence, especially in the founding of this country, to suggest that the historical background has not had the best interests of all people in mind. And the fact is that the idea that times are changing to encompass the benefit of all people is something that a leader should really look forward to and spearhead.
All right, Joey, you ready for your 30-second question?
Yes.
What passions would you want your leader to share with you? Passions as if they're like the things that they're passionate about in their life. What would you want them to share with the public or just you in general?
Well, I do think it is sometimes good to kind of get a little peek into like who they are as a person, maybe in their personal life. I think for the most part they should share passions for like what they want to see change in the world and the country around them. They should be passionate of the things that they want to push for, whether that be human rights or something in business and trades, just showing things that they hold true to themselves and why they're here in that sense.
Thank you. All right, Claudia, for your second question, you will have 30 seconds. Are you ready? Ready as I'll ever be. So, do you think a person or a group of people can truly love a leader without having met them in person?
I think that a group of people or a person can, because a leader can show their compassion for other people through their words and through their actions, and basically show that they care about their needs and their desires.
Thank you so much.
All right, Andrew, here's your 30-second question. Are you ready? Yep. All right, do you think a leader should show affection to their romantic partner while on the campaign trail?
Absolutely. I mean, showing that shows, it humanizes them. I mean, we all love someone, and seeing this candidate showing affection to their romantic partner, like I said, it humanizes them. It gives them more than just this face that we've been looking at. it makes us realize that they are a person too, just like us.
All right, thank you very much. Our next time is going to be about leadership in theater. So, great. Yes. What should a leader do when they're afraid?
I think that a leader should express their fears when they're afraid. It's okay to ask for help, especially I think that reflects on them. Allison, hi. What is your biggest fear going to the election this year?
My biggest fear is that no change will happen. Diane, what are some fears that you think leaders have?
I think a fear that leaders often have is like, are they enough for their people? Are they what they're looking for? Things of that nature.
What are traits that you two fear in leaders?
I really fear dishonesty. I think it can set the stage for a lot of issues.
I think I agree. Dishonesty is a really big thing that I don't think I want to see in a leader.
Our next round is going to be leadership and struggle. Could we get 3 audience volunteers?
And we're going to get your mic. Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. And that's the pain of you.
Nice and clean. Can you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Yeah, I'm Matt.
Hi, you can keep that. Thank you for answering the question. So my question I have for you is, do you think you can trust a leader who has a criminal background? You have 30 seconds.
I mean, I don't want to judge someone just because they have a criminal background, so I guess you case by case, and you really have to analyze what they've done in their past, what they plan to do in their future, and make an assumption based off of that, just not off of a criminal record.
Thank you.
Hi, there you go. Would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Hannah.
All right, Hannah, you'll have 30 seconds to answer this question. What do you think leaders' biggest struggles are while they're on the campaign trail?
I think it's sometimes difficult for people to stay true to their word and follow through with promises they make, because a lot of leaders tend to make empty promises that they don't follow through with, so that's something that people struggle with.
Thank you.
Hi, could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Avina.
Hi. So my question for you is, how can a leader improve their declining popularity?
I would say, honestly, the most important part of a leader is staying true to themselves, and even if other people may not necessarily agree with their views or opinions, if they express why they feel a certain way, rather than there's a balance between whether to want to follow your personal, listen to yourself or listen to others, and how to balance that out. But I think honestly, rather than just focusing on pleasing others, you have to learn to please yourself first, because that will only better yourself as a leader and doing what you think is right overall for everyone.
Thank you so much.
Show must go on. I'm going to need a volunteer because I'm alone up here now. So if someone would like to come and answer some questions, that'd be great. Right over there. Yes, yeah. Hi. Can you please tell everyone your name?
I'm Peter.
All right, Peter. This is leadership in character, and I'm going to have 3 questions for you. Your first question, you're going to have 15 seconds to answer. So, if a leader is enacting policies that you totally agree with, but they have bad character, does that matter?
I think it matters how much you value somebody's character over their beliefs. If you really believe that they're going to change something
that you feel is wrong or something that is broken with the system that they're running for, then I think that a lot of people will put that aside and put the character aside because the beliefs are there.
And your next question, you're also going to have 15 seconds. Do the people working for a leader need to show good character?
Absolutely, yeah. You're representing whoever you're serving, because if it's talking about the president, for example, you're a servant of the public, and all of your workers are also servants of the public. And to do that, you should be a role model and a representative for the population that you serve. So yes.
Thank you. And your next question, you have 30 seconds, but I'll make it a fun one.
Okay.
If you could pick any fictional character to be a great leader right now, who would you pick and why?
Oh man. Probably Dumbledore. Because, I mean, come on. The man ran Hogwarts through some of the most trying and troubling times, but also in seriousness, like, it's somebody who you like. He has those qualities that you want to see in a leader. He's wise, he's honest, he's true to his word, he inspires greatness in others, and that's the qualities you want to see in a leader.
All right, thank you. Volunteer, I have one last question for everyone. If the human race were about to be destroyed by space aliens, what would you want the leader of the free world to say?
Major. Sir. Good morning. Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
If she gets elected, so many of our country's problems will be fixed. I don't know what you're talking about. There is so much opposition in Congress, nothing ever gets done. You have to have hope. You're just being a pessimist. A pessimist? No way. Nothing ever gets done, and she's never gonna do it. She's just manipulating you. She's honest and has a clean record. She would never manipulate me. Honesty has nothing to do with it. This position is different, harder, more complicated than the others. These are impossible promises.
What do you mean I'm not doing enough? I recycle, I use reusable bags, hell, I haven't used a plastic straw in 2 years.
We can always be doing more, and you know that. This is our chance to stir up change at a higher level.
Look, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but if I skip class for another stupid protest, I'm going to get kicked out of my program. It's not like they're going to listen to us anyway.
They're never going to listen if you just give up.
I'm not giving up. I'm doing the best that I can, and right now I need to focus on my future.
We're not going to have a future if our planet's fucking dead. What's one more afternoon at a desk job going to do for you in the long run anyway? Come with me if you actually give a damn about your future.
All I'm saying is, I just care about the safety of my family. We don't need them in this country.
But what about the safety of those kids in cages being separated from their parents?
Their parents could have done things the legal way. My parents came here the legal way, so did yours. Would you want your parents to put you through all that?
Yeah, that's not a fair comparison. You know, our parents had enough so they could take the legal way.
But my thing is, why do people even want to come to this country if nobody wants them here?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe they're fleeing from war, poverty, and their government isn't doing shit about it? God, would it kill you to show some fucking compassion?
How does my vote even count if the Electoral College makes the final decision? I mean, does my vote even mean anything?
I know it's important to vote. I just don't know what my vote means. Voting is an essential part of having a democracy. Without the people's say, democracy doesn't exist.
It's just too complicated. I think I'm just not gonna vote.
If you don't put in your say, someone else is gonna make the decision for you. Voting is a part of your independence. But how can that independence be shown when the popular vote doesn't always win?
The words you are about to hear were spoken in the last few hundred years by someone trying to get people to believe in them and what they stand for. In the next few minutes, we will speak these words for you out loud and up close. How should we stand? How should we speak? How do we be what other people need us to be so that they'll want to follow us? Let's get started.
I think we've become very disconnected from the natural world. And many of us, what we're guilty of is an egocentric worldview, the belief that we're the center of the universe. We go into the natural world and we plunder it for its resources. We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow. And when she gives birth, we steal her baby even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a cat, and we put it in our coffee and our cereal. And I think we fear the idea of personal change because we think we have to sacrifice something, to give something up. But human beings at our best are so inventive and creative and ingenious. And when we use love and compassion as our guiding principles, we can create and develop and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and the environment. Now, I have been a scoundrel in my life. I have been cruel at times, selfish, hard to work with, and I'm grateful that so many of you in this room have given me a second chance. And I think that's when we're at our best. When we help each other to grow, not when we cancel each other out for past mistakes, but when we support each other, when we educate each other, when we guide each other toward redemption. That is the best of humanity. Joaquin Phoenix, Oscars acceptance speech, February 2020. I want to tell them that all this shit is just debris. Left behind when we finally decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside you that kept you going despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and you signed it yourself. You signed it they were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or for everything. Maybe you brought bruises and broken teeth to show and tell, but never told, because how can you stand your ground if everyone wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted that we are not what we were called. We are not abandoned cars sitting out empty on some highway. And if in some way we are, don't worry. Just got out to get gas. We are graduating members of the class of fuck off, we made it. Not the faded echoes of people saying names will never hurt me. Of course they did. But our lives will only ever continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty. Shane Cookson to this day. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. And the others too. JFK Moon Speech, Rice University Stadium, 1962.
In closing, I would like to leave you with one last bit of guidance. Take it or leave it at your peril. You are now leaving the lion's den and entering the pack of wolves. Attack each day as if you were a stray, starving mutt backed into a corner. Trust your animal instincts no matter what your vocation. Be clever, be manipulative, be voracious, and yes, always, always be ruthlessly pragmatic. Your safety depends on it. Disaster lurks around every corner. Are you going to be a sheep or a wolf? A bear or a bull? A Taylor Swift or a Miley Cyrus? A Peyton Manning or a Richard Sherman? Regardless of what your kind-hearted family and friends and teachers have taught you to believe, life is not a marathon or a sprint or a journey. It's a hunt! And hunting season has just begun. Congratulations. I hope you're hungry. Frank Underwood, House of Cards.
I have bad news for you. For all of our fellow citizens, and for people who love peace all over the world, and that is that Martin Luther King was shot and killed tonight. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and justice toward his fellow human beings, and he died because of that effort. What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence or lawlessness, but love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, and a feeling of justice toward those who still suffer in this country, whether they be white or they be black. We can do better in this country. We will have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past. We will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of lawlessness. It is not the end of disorder. But the vast majority of white people and black people in this country want to live together, want to improve the quality of our life, and want justice for all those who abide in our land. So let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people. Robert Kennedy, announcing the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., April 4th, 1968.
The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet, the same revolutionary beliefs which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been called to defend freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will start a fire, and the glow from that fire can light up the entire world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America can do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. John F. Kennedy's inauguration speech.
During the game, they showed a shot of me and George laughing. And people were upset. They thought, why is a gay Hollywood liberal sitting next to a conservative Republican president? And they didn't even notice I was holding the brand new iPhone 11. But people were upset, And they did what people do when they're upset. They tweet. But here's the thing. I'm friends with George Bush. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. We're all different. And I think that we've forgotten that that's okay. For instance, I wish people wouldn't wear fur. I don't like it, but I'm friends with people who wear fur. Just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people who think the same way you do. I mean be kind to everyone. It doesn't matter. Ellen DeGeneres, 2019.
It's not the greatest country in the world, that's my answer. With a straight face, you're going to tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states, like 180 of them have freedom. And you, just in case you ever wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. One of them is there's absolutely no evidence to show that we are the greatest country in the world. We're 8th in reading, 30th in math, 11th in science, 125th in literacy, 64th in life expectancy, 55th in infant mortality, 4th in median household income, number 14 in labor force, and number 2 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. So when you ask me what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? It sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not on poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chests. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election. God, we didn't scare so easy. We were able to be all these things and to do all these things because we were informed by great men, men who were revered. The first step in solving any problem is recognizing that there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. Aaron Sorkin, The Newsroom.
I am able to look at that flag and see how far we've come. And I look out among all the students who are here today, and hopefully one day, if you come back to a flag-raising ceremony like this one, you'll be able to say, I remember where I was. I remember looking at that flag and seeing how far TCNJ has come. We're moving closer to a more equitable, a more inclusive, a more diverse community. But it starts here and now with the commitment that we're taking. It starts here and now with the decisions that we're making to do and to be better than we were last year. Better than when you all were freshmen. Better than when some of your friends said, don't go to that school, because they don't understand you, us, them. And so we will leave a legacy of a school that not only understands, but hears, listens, tries to do their absolute best to go above and beyond and speak exactly to the student experience that we hope will make them say, I want to go to TCNJ. So I thank you all for coming here today. Thank you for being so motivated to come out and support. But I ask and I urge you not to let this flag raising be the only symbolic thing you do during this season. Go to the events, have conversations. Be willing to be uncomfortable in change and in challenge. And let's set a legacy. A national legacy. for what happens when schools, administrators, staff, and students are on the same page, moving towards the same goal. Marvin A. Carter, raising of the Pan-African flag, February 2nd, 2020.
America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You've got to want it bad because it's going to put up a fight. It's going to say, you want free speech? Well, then let me see you stand up and acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil. A man who is standing center stage, advocating at the top of his lungs that which you'd spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as the land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now, show me that. Defend that. Celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free. Bob Rumson is interested in two things, and two things only: making you afraid and telling you who's to blame. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win elections. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people. And if you want to talk about character, Bob, you'd better come at me with more than a burning flag. If you want to talk character and American values, fine. Just show me where and when, and I'll show up. This is a serious time for serious people, Bob, and your 15 minutes are up. The American president, Aaron Sorkin. So, who's next? Really, we've got victory speeches and concession speeches.
We've got campaign speeches from all the candidates of this cycle.
We've got primaries, the general election, even some fictional ones. So, who's up?
Anyone want to do a speech for us today?
Karaoke. You love karaoke.
The words are right there.
And I have a list of all the speeches.
Anybody? Anybody want to do it? We got one in there. All right. Come on down. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yay! How do we start this way? Yay! It'll be fun, I promise. It'll be fun to do this. We're gonna go this way, though.
Who's up first?
Yeah, we got Pete.
Could you introduce yourself again?
I'm still Peter.
And which speech will you be doing,
I'm
Peter?
doing a Drummond's speech from Inherit the Wind.
I believe in you, I'm just over here.
Okay. An idea is a greater monument than a cathedral, and the advance of man's knowledge is a greater miracle than all the Styx turns into snakes or the parting of the waters. But now, are we to forego all this progress because Mr. Brady now frightens us with a fable? Gentlemen, progress has never been a bargain. You have to pay for it. Sometimes I think there's a man who sits behind a counter and says, "All right, you can have a telephone, but you lose privacy and the charm of distance. Madam, you may vote, but at a price. You lose the right to retreat behind the powder puff of your petticoat. Mister, you may conquer the air, but the birds will lose their wonder and the clouds will smell of gasoline. Darwin took us forward to a hilltop, for we could look back and see the way from which we came. But for this insight and for this knowledge, we must abandon our faith in the pleasant poetry of Genesis." Attorney Drummond.
Thank you, Peter. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Caleb.
Hi, Caleb. What speech will you be doing?
I'll be doing the network speech.
Perfect.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everyone knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their jobs. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the streets, and there's no one anywhere that seems to know what to do with us. Now into it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. and we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we have 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if there's a way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad. Worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the streets. All I know is first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it, my life has value. So I want you to get up right now and go to the window. Open it and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. Howard Beale.
Next up, we have this lady right here. Could you introduce yourself again?
Patrice.
Hi, Patrice.
My message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? You are failing us, but the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say, we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now is where we draw the line. The world is waking up, and change is coming whether you like it or not.
Yay! Let's give a round of applause to everyone who's on so far. Can I have the next person up, please? Hi, what's your name? Hi, I'm Avina. Hi.
You may start whenever you're ready.
Thomas Jefferson once said that all men are created equal, a phrase that the government is fond of hurling at us. There is a tendency in this year of grace, 1935, for certain people to use that phrase out of context to satisfy all conditions. We know that all men are not created equal in the sense that some people would have us believe. Some people are smarter than others. Some people have more opportunity because they are born with it. Some men have more money than others, and some people are more gifted than others. But there is one way in this country in which all men are created equal. An institution that makes a pauper the equal of a Rockefeller, the ignorant man the equal of any president, and the stupid man the equal of Einstein. That institution is the court. But a court is only as sound as its jury, and the jury is only as sound as the men who make it up. I am confident that you gentlemen will review without passion the evidence you have heard, come to a decision, and restore the defendant to his family. In the name of God, do your duty. In the name of gentlemen, believe Tom Robinson. Can we have
the introduction. Then characters, story, questions and answers, and now what? An ending? I think that's premature, by a long shot. But what about hopes and fears? This election season is a rough one in many ways. As you think about the days, the weeks leading up, the days that come after, what are you hopeful for? What are you fearful of?
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. You can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Mountains, we gon' walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I'll like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Mountains, bring it to its feet. Mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, high like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
sing the truth to you. Guess you could say,
what are you fearful of?
We've always been